Hello and welcome back. I am really excited about today's topic, but also like petrified that it's the end of the year. Like, where has 2023 gone? So if you may have read the title of this, we're going to talk about the 10 things that I've learned in 2023. So if you guys feel how I feel, where I'm just like, where has this year gone? You are not alone. I feel like this has been the biggest year of my life in terms of personal, social, relationships, personal growth, career. It's like everything was just thrown at me in 2023. But as always, the challenges that life brings, you come out the other end and you're so much stronger. And I thought this would be a really nice video to do because it allows me to look back and be like, wow, I learned a lot. And next year's going to be bigger and better because of everything I've learned in 2023. So yeah, kind of a bit of a backstory. This year I've gone from not having a boyfriend, being single, to having a boyfriend, which has been amazing. But like anything has its challenges, because I was just so content, so happy on my own, and now I have to get used to kind of sharing my time and just, someone else in the picture who's so important to me. And it's pretty interesting because I've been a big advocate on you learn the most about yourself when you're single. You need to be single. And I don't disagree with that at all. But I have to say, getting into a new relationship is like looking in the mirror and seeing all the things that you need to work on. Like, wow, I have learned so much in the 7 months I've been in a new relationship. And so if anyone else is in a new relationship this year and feeling this way, it is completely normal, and it's an amazing way to learn about yourself and of course the other person. Another thing that happened this year, which kind of really rocked me, was my mum had her cancer removed and she had an 11-hour surgery. She was in hospital for 6 weeks. She was in ICU for 5 days. So that was just one of those moments where you realize things can happen to anybody and we can't take life for granted. And I will dive more into this as I go through the 10 things I've learned this year, but that for me was a big eye-opener on what really is important in this life. And I definitely want to take what I've learned in this really hard time of my life for the rest of my life. And there is still silver linings to this, which is crazy for some people to think, how can there be silver linings? Your mum's had to go through all of this. No, there actually are, and I'll get into it. And it's not about toxic positivity. It's actually about you can't change what's happening, so you have a choice in how you view it. And yeah, the last kind of big thing for me is my career this year has just, I've been so proud of myself for what I've achieved, and I think that it's important that we're our biggest cheerleaders. And I think people think we shouldn't really celebrate our wins because, it looks like you're up yourself or something like that. But no, we work hard, and when something amazing happens for you, you need to be your biggest cheerleader. You need to tap yourself on the back. So yeah, I've got to travel a lot this year for work and done some real dream collaborations. So yeah, again, thank you everyone for your support, because I really don't think I could be doing the things I get to do without you guys. So yeah, if any of you have been following me for a while, or if you're new, thank you. Like, can't actually put into words that it really means a lot to me. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the 10 things that I've learned this year. I have spent all morning writing this down, and I was like, I could do another 10. So if you like this and you want me to do a part 2, DM me or put it on your story and I will definitely do it. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 1, being alone doesn't mean you are lonely. Wow, okay. This, for me, was one of my biggest learnings this year because, yes, I'm in a relationship now, but funnily enough, the weeks leading up to me meeting Tom, I had just gotten to a point in my life where I was happy by myself. I had gone through a breakup last year and I didn't want an hour free. I wanted to fill my schedule up to the brim, social arrangements, going out, doing things. But really, being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. So I really feel that this year, the first half of it, I was able to learn to love my own time and just read a book at the beach by myself and not think, oh my God, people are looking at me. Oh, she's by herself. It's the best thing in the world to love your own time. And for anyone who is looking for a relationship, I know it's cliche, but when you're not looking for it, that's when it comes and happens. It's true. I promise you, it was I was talking to my friend in a cafe and I was literally saying to her, I'm just really enjoying being by myself. I was actually saying, I think it would be hard for me to let anyone in now because I just love it. And literally Tom walked across the road and we met. So yeah, lesson 1 is being alone doesn't mean you are lonely. And also from that, I think a lot of good things happen to people who enjoy their own time. You just ooze off this level of confidence and effortlessness, and people like to be around those people. So my second tip is invest in your health. Your health is your wealth. I am constantly hearing living a healthy life is expensive. You're so fortunate that you can do that. But the 3 healthiest things that you can do for yourself are free. Breathe, meditate, and walk in nature. They're literally free. So I do not believe for a second that living a healthy life is so expensive. I've also come to realize that if you choose an unhealthy lifestyle full of ultra-processed food, no movement, your cost in the future for medical is far greater than the cost of if you had booked the workout classes, eaten some healthy food. I think it's also an important thing to kind of look at how much money you're spending. So if you are someone who is tight on a budget, write down everything that you're spending in a week. You're probably spending $7 a day on your coffee at the coffee shop, maybe $100 on the weekend on alcohol and cocktails. So we need to look at where we're spending our money and then determine what's more important. So yes, going for saunas might be expensive and going to those exercise classes, but if you could maybe not have your Starbucks coffee or wherever you get your coffee for 3 days a week, you'd be able to pay for a gym membership. Just make a coffee at home, or your cocktails that you go and get out. That money could be spent on your health, and without your health, you have nothing. And I think a big thing with mum getting sick as well is realizing without your health, you are nothing. So invest in your health. Decide to spend a bigger portion of your weekly earnings on your health. And if that isn't an option, just get outside, breathe, meditate, journal, walk in nature. It's just all the good stuff and it's all free. Number 3, don't take your family for granted. So yes, I've touched on it a few times, but I would be the first one to put my hand up and say I took my family for granted. I knew that they would unconditionally love me. So when it came to making plans and things, they were at the bottom of the barrel, which is so sad. I would choose hanging out with my friends or, going out on the weekend, overseeing my family. And then when I would see them, I wasn't present. I'd be on my phone, on social media. And this is what I was saying at the start about the silver lining. A big thing for me is that since mum's gotten sick, I don't take a moment for granted. My phone is on do not disturb when I'm with my family. That is family time. Like this weekend we're doing family Monopoly night on a Saturday night where mum's making her goulash, like we're half Hungarian. So I am just enjoying being with my family, but old me would be like, I'm not going to be with my family on a Saturday night. Like, oh my God, social suicide. So big changes. And I think we all need to really nurture the people in our life who love us for who we are, our truest self. With Christmas and whatever other festivities you celebrate around the corner, I think it's a really good time to set the intention to be like, I'm not going to be at my phone when I'm with my family. I'm going to be present. I'm going to listen. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to buy them beautiful present. Use all those love languages for your family. So yeah. Number 4, we need to schedule in self-care. As I was saying, this has been the biggest year of my life. I feel like some weeks I haven't even had a second to breathe. And I was getting to the point where I was just irritable and at boiling point at all times, like walking around like a ticking time bomb because I wasn't setting time for self-care. And I would always set times for Pilates or seeing friends and doing all these other things, but no time for self-care. And I think, well, I know now it is so important. So when you're doing your week schedule, if you're like, you should be doing it, you should be organized like that. You should be fitting in maybe write a walk by myself without a phone, journaling, meditating, sauna. Do something for you. It can be even just 10 minutes a day, but it will allow your stress to just go down to a lower point, that you are less irritable. It means as well that if you get an annoying message on Instagram or an email that sets you off, you're not going to be as irritable because you've actually allowed your body to reset. Self-care actually stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which returns your body into a recovery state. So you need to be doing this every day. Stress is so bad on your body. I think we all know times in our life when you've been stressed and your digestion's not working, your skin's breaking out, your hair's falling out, your sleep's bad. It impacts everything. But if we just dedicated 10 to 30 minutes a day of self-care, all these things will improve. And it's such a beautiful cycle because then you're less stressed because maybe your skin's not as flaring up as often and your digestion's working better. So you tend to have more productive days. It's a beautiful circle, flow, and definitely work on for 2024. Set in that self-care, schedule it in. Number 5, you can change every day. It is your decision who you walk out the door as. This was massive for me, and it is the reason I'm sitting here with you guys speaking, because I was just so scared of judgment. And if you're scared of judgment, you're just never going to be your truest self because you're molding yourself to what you think people think you should be doing. But really, you're the only one. You've got to work really hard at finding that truest self. I think our 20s is this decade of so much change. I have more so felt it since I turned over 25. I feel like I was like, part of me was pulling me towards one end and the other to the other. And one wanted me to be cool and hang out with the cool people, but the other side is like your dreams and your goals and bettering yourself. And I think it's really important that we sit down with a piece of paper and just write down, who do you want to be in 2024? Who do you want to walk out the door as? No judgment. And write that down, stick it somewhere you can see it, and look at it every day before you go outside. I think people's judgments are going to stop you from doing what really matters, and you're going to have to live with that regret for the rest of your life. So work really hard on just trusting your truest self, and remember that the person you were yesterday can be a completely different today. Yesterday, you could have been someone who goes partying all the time, eats bad food, watches Netflix all night. This could have been the characteristics you put to yourself. But you can wake up today and walk out of the house, go for a walk, go to the exercise class, go to bed early. You can make these changes. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. And I'm grateful I've overcome it because I'm really enjoying doing the podcast and the YouTube and sharing more. So yeah, that was a big lesson for 2023. Number 6 is do something every day that challenges you. So I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say, I hated ice baths. I hate the cold. Like, I am a summer baby through and through. But once you start doing them and realizing this like explosion of dopamine in the body and you feel incredible and you're less irritable and you're just a nicer person, you want to do it every day or at least a few times a week. And I know some people, it might be too expensive to ice bath or not convenient. Just go in the shower, put that cold water on, even just for 20 seconds and work your way up. You could jump in the ocean. Even going to a hard workout class, I find in the morning, it challenges you. And because it challenges you in the morning, first thing, that means when other challenges come your way, because as we all know, they will, you are able to handle it so much better. And I also think as humans, we are all too used to being comfortable. Our bodies aren't made to just be comfortable. Our bodies are made to be challenged. So kind of let yourself really focus on that one thing a day. For me, it could even be, I really don't feel like getting up out of bed and going for my walk. Just do it and you just feel better for the day. Number 7, diversify your earnings. I feel like, so I studied economics at uni, but I feel like 2023 is the year that everyone understood what inflation is. Everyone I speak to, inflation's so high. Not in my whole life has anyone ever spoken about this. But the silver lining to this is that we need to have options when it comes to earnings, because now to get by, no one's salaries are increasing at the rate of inflation. So my biggest tip is if you have a hobby or something you really like, maybe look into doing a little side hustle. You could coach people, you could make a journal, just anything. It doesn't have to be big, but look into having multiple streams of income. I think it's really important to get ahead, especially in your 20s. It can be really hard. And I think that with social media and the whole digital age, anything is really possible. You can start a business, so not easily, of course, but you can just sell things through Instagram now. Or you could be, do a few more kind of social media jobs to try build a following to then earn income in that space. There is a lot of options, and I think it's a good thing to have to diversify your earnings for 2024. Number 8, it's not about having one big goal. It's about becoming greater every single day. So I finished my business degree a couple of years ago, and I was obsessed with writing business plans and doing Canva, do profit and loss, do balance sheet. Like, I do all these businesses, but I never started one. It's funny the amount of time I spent on these things, but it's because it just felt too out of reach, felt too big. So this year in 2023, I really tried to just become 1% better every single day, whether it's reading a book about business or listening to a podcast, and just learning. And from that, now I'm looking back on the year, I feel so much more streamlined on where I want to go. And I don't know exactly where I want to go. And I think it's okay, completely normal to say that. I want to normalize that. But I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I'm putting one foot in front of the other. I know it's really cliche, but it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But it's so true in just everything in life. So yeah, my biggest tip, if you're someone who's just like, everyone's starting businesses, everyone's doing this, first of all, stop comparing yourself. But second of all, just focus on bettering yourself every day. It can be something small. It could, start implementing regular training, meditation. All these things actually help you streamline. Because a healthy body and a healthy mind, the positive flow-on effect from that is just you realize what you really want in life. So yeah, don't be hard on yourself for 2024. Just focus on one foot in front of the other. Number 9, don't go in the sun between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. So I had a skin cancer scare where I had a precancerous mole removed, and now I am 10 times as likely to get skin cancer, which is so scary. I'm half Egyptian, half Hungarian. I just never thought that this sun would be something I'd have to worry about. But I think from modeling, they would spray like canola oil on me, chuck you out in the sun, swim for 8 hours. So unfortunately, that's what happened. I had to get the mole removed, but fortunately now I'm a lot more sun safe. And sun damage and like our skin going in the sun is the number one culprit for aging our skin. So we really don't want to be going in the sun between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. because that is when the UV is at its highest, and it's just not worth it. I'll go in the morning, I'll go in the afternoon, but in the middle of the day I do my errands. I'll go for my grocery shop or whatever it might be. We will regret lying in the sun and sun tanning when we get older, so don't do it. My mum is always in my ear, don't do it, and wear sun cream, hat, glasses, the whole shebang. So my last tip is use your weekends for adventure and creating memories. When I look back on the year, the memories or the moments that I remember are going away or going on an adventure, hiking, swimming at a different beach. These are the things that you remember. But so many of us just do the same thing every weekend. We go out for dinner and drinks with our girlfriends, which is of course so fine. But I think it is a really nice thing for 2024, once a month, book to go on a hike or do something different. Not only is it amazing for your body and mind just being in nature and getting out, but it also connects you deeply to the person you experience this with, which is just a really special thing, and I just don't think we do it enough, especially if any of you live in Australia. We have so many beautiful hikes and nature around us, and we should be making the most of it. The restaurants will always be here, but doing those special hikes with someone are the moments you cherish when you look back on the year. So don't forget that when you're making plans in 2024. So they are the 10 things that I have learned. I think I'm definitely going to do a part 2 because I have so many more that I want to share with you all. I would love if you guys could share this podcast on your story or DM me with things that you've learned this year, and let's make 2024 the best year yet. We have got this. Thanks for tuning in.